I'm going to press start webinar.
Good evening. This is the Bicycle Pedestrian Commission meeting. Today is May the 15th, 2024. I call the meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. and ask staff to proceed with roll call.
Thank you, Chair. Commissioner Ganga,
Yes.
Commissioner John, Chair Marcy,
Yes.
Vice Chair Wolf,
Yes.
Commissioner Zhao. Okay. We have a quorum.
The first agenda item is the approval of the minutes. So are there any clarifying questions or comments on the meeting minutes from April the 17th, 2024? Are there any public speakers about the agenda item?
None.
So is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
I can second. So David, can you?
Yes, approval of the April 17th, 2024 Bicycle Pedestrian Commission minutes. How do you vote, Commissioner Ganga?
Yes.
Chair Marcy?
Aye.
Vice Chair Wolf?
Aye.
Commissioner Zhao? Commissioner John? Motion passes.
Just from a logistical standpoint, we usually have the Word document that's pulled up on the screen. Is it something that we're going to have to? Because now that we're in that room. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Are there any postponements?
No postponement.
So are there any public speakers?
No public speakers.
So we'll proceed to oral communications. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons wishing to address the Commission on any matter within the jurisdiction of the Commission that is not on the agenda. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Is there anyone waiting to make public comments?
No.
So I close the public comment period for this agenda item. Were there any written communications prior to that meeting?
We have no written communications.
There is also no old business at this time. So we'll move on to the second agenda item, which is new business. And that's the Transportation Development Act, Article 3 fund allocation. So David, do you want to give us an overview about the topic?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Give me one moment, please. Okay, thank you. The topic tonight is allocation of Cupertino CDA Article 3 money for the current year. So what is CDA? Transportation Development Act, Article 3 provides funding annually for bicycle pedestrian projects. Each county in the Bay Area has a guaranteed share of this money. This is money that MTC, the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, distributes each of the counties within the Bay Area, and then each county is responsible for distributing the money to each of the cities within the county based upon population of the cities. Guaranteed money that we receive and all the other cities in the Bay Area receive each year. We may bank, agencies may bank their TDA3 funds for up to 4 years, plus 1 year to program the funds. Anything banked beyond 4 years is lost and reverts back to the pot. Cupertino's current guarantee amount is $334,349, and that represents, I believe, 3 years of banked funding. This is the same funding source as you recall last year. We came to the commission to request 166,000, I believe, be put towards the De Anza buffered bike lane project. So this is the exact same as last year, same fund. So projects that are eligible for TDA Article 3 funding, construction or engineering of a bicycle or pedestrian capital or quick build project, maintenance of a class 1 or class 4 bikeway, bicycle safety education programs, the development of a comprehensive bike or ped plan, or restriping of class 2 bike lanes and buffered bike lanes. Staff's recommendation tonight is that the Bicycle Pedestrian Commission recommend that the $330,000 of our current TDA balance be programmed towards the Cupertino Active Transportation Plan. This is a project that the commission has expressed a lot of interest in the past in moving forward with, and that council is interested as well, as including on the work plan. $330,000 is enough money to get us a good active transportation plan. What this plan will do, basically combine a bicycle pedestrian plan and pedestrian transportation plan. Our bike plan is 2016. It's 8 years old now. It's time to start thinking about a new one. And our pedestrian plan is 2018, almost as having the two separate plans is challenging because of conflicts between the two and overlaps and prioritizing which projects to fund, including them into a single active transportation plan will allow the city to pursue these types of capital projects, these active transportation projects, much more efficiently. Again, my recommendation tonight is that the commission review and approve the allocation, Cupertino's Article 3 allocation for the active transportation plan. The next step after tonight's action is that staff will go to council on currently scheduled for the June 18th council meeting to have the council recommend the allocation. We do need a bicycle pedestrian commission action, however, as well, in order to move forward with this allocation. So with that concludes my presentation, and I'll take any questions.
Are there any clarifying questions? I would have one, and I'm not familiar yet with all the jurisdictions. Is that money coming from the federal government, from the state government?
It's state.
State, okay, that's, I wasn't sure. Yeah. Any other question?
I don't have clarifying questions, but I have, when it comes to discussions, I have questions or points at that time.
So are there any public comments, public speakers for that agenda item?
No public speakers.
So I'll open for the commission discussion. So, Lalo, you wanna?
Yeah, so I have two comments or kind of consider as a question as well. I went through the application that you have posted as part of this agenda item. So number one, I believe that the work plan will be coming to the council for approval in June. So it's still not an approved one. So what you're asking for is a conditional recommendation shouldn't we wait for that to happen before commission can recommend this? Because it's not one of these items. So the work plan items will be approved with all the other city work plan items. I'm assuming that that's a separate agenda item.
I'll defer to Chad on this. You may do I'll say you may do a conditional recommendation. I can also say that it's strictly necessary that this be on the council work plan in order for staff to proceed with the active transportation plan. I don't know.
I wouldn't even get into that level of detail. I think right now, the active transportation plan was on the 2-year city work plan. It was pushed to year 2. We fully intend council to approve that. If they don't approve it, we can always look for other opportunities to recommend use of these funds. So I don't see that there's an issue with providing a recommendation that these funds be utilized for that project. And again, if it doesn't get approved, which I believe it's first meeting in June, then we may look at other opportunities to utilize these funds, or we may work another aspect towards having the ATP proceed.
Yeah, what only thing is like the question on right now is to approve it for this specific purpose, right? So that's why my question is like, this is the work plan item intended to be approved by the council this time, because council last time when it was brought forward, they pushed it out or deprioritized it for that particular year because of funding reasons and whatnot, right? So same thing, council might decide to approve it or might postpone it. So that's why I'm asking about the conditional recommendation. If the council gets to approve it, then basically we would also request for funding at that point in time. Is that an accurate statement?
If council doesn't approve the ATP in the work plan, there's still no harm in the commission making the recommendation. It's just we would not move forward with requesting the TDA allocation from BTA.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a recommendation for council to utilize these funds for the ATP. And if council does not want us to work on the ATP, they will not accept that recommendation. But I don't see that there's any harm in providing the recommendation before the ATP is formally approved by council.
And we would return at a later date with another project recommendation for use of these funds.
Yeah, my recommendation, if the commission decides to move this forward, it's better to explicitly state that we are conditionally approving, assuming the council will move forward with this, right? If not,
Well, you're recommending that the council move
move
forward.
forward.
So I don't know that you need the conditional. That's kind of like backwards.
Okay,
You'd recommend council and then council can say yes or no.
okay.
That's how it usually will work.
Okay, sounds good. The one follow-up one as well. The other one is like now you are calling this as an active transportation plan, which is kind of misleading or ambiguous in the sense like it's not to look at the people who are looking through this for a long time. But if you put this in front of the public, what do you call this plan, right? So it's a bicycle and pedestrian plan. And we have bicycle plan and a pedestrian plan. Now we are trying to combine that and then bring a bicycle and pedestrian plan. Call it what it is, as opposed to calling it as active. I saw that a statement which saying that why you are qualifying that as calling it as an active transportation plan. It's there in the application. I saw in the first paragraph, but call for what it is my recommendation.
It gives us flexibility if we expand beyond bike and ped into other modes of active transportation. And generally that's what it's being called in the industry. This sort of a plan is an active transportation plan. So we're following standard practice.
Okay, so that's my opinion. Okay.
I do have one question. So they can bank these funds up to 4 years, is that correct?
Correct.
And so are these banked funds?
They're bank funds.
So how many more years would you have left?
I believe we have 3 years of banked funds that this represents. We get about $120,000. Varies a little bit based upon how population changes. So next year we would have to commit to using at least 1 year's worth of funds. The first year that's been banked So, but we have 3 years covered, right?
Okay, thanks.
And then there's gonna be a comment slash a question. Well, when I think about the balance to carry over, we still have $4,349 that could be used for a project. And so one of the definitions that you can use that for quick builds, is there something that we could do here? Just thinking of the time value of money, this is gonna depreciate in terms of actual value. The inflation rate is pretty high. So just thinking, is that something that we could do right now and use this fund towards?
You could. My recommendation is just to bank it into another year, only because the staff time involved with the application and the paperwork would probably negate $4,000. And
So it's not a disposal for any project, you have to give a,
there has to be an application.
that's a, okay. Got it.
But we won't lose the money. It will roll over into future.
If you're done with this, then I have one more
Will we
question.
be getting any interest on it if we are rolling over into?
No,
Commissioner Garland?
Yes, I have another question. This is regarding the budget itself. Now, we are also requesting the commission to recommend $334,349, right? At this time, we do not know how much this is going to cost, and based on the prior plans or similar study plans, the cost of the budget that's been allocated looks or requested seems to be high. One is like, you might be subsuming a lot of the work that's already part of the existing bicycle plan and pedestrian plan. And you'll also be taking some of the studies that was done regarding traffic analysis and things like that from the local road safety plan and the Vision Zero plan as well. Because if you go back and look at the bicycle and pedestrian plan, a lot of those initial part of those plans were the past 10 years or 7 years of study of different conditions, road conditions, and that was already done as part of these other two plans. And Vision Zero is just recently, the consultant is engaged on that one. So I felt that the amount that's being requested seems to be really high. And what, like, why? Or maybe it's like once you go for a request for a proposal, at that point in time, and when you will know exactly how much it's going to cost, isn't it? So at that point is what you will be going to the council for requesting for budget approval of that amount. So why are we pre-approving this even before we don't?
Our request to the council was for $330,000, the same amount that we're requesting reimbursement from TDA. The research that I've done has shown me that 330,000 gets you a kind of a middle of the road level active transportation plan. You can get a very robust plan for like 500. You can get a very rudimentary plan for 150 or 2. Given the high expectations of the community in Cupertino, we found that certainly we don't want to aim towards the low end of that. We want to plan on providing a good level of support for development of the plan, and 330,000 seemed to be right in line with the level of detail we'd be looking for.
Okay, so just for reference, like how much was the budget for the LRSP and Vision Zero?
Vision Zero was 100,000. The LRSP, I believe, was about 75 or 80,000. Keeping in mind, those are not going to be as detailed as the bike plan, because the bike plan or the ATP will identify specific projects, prioritizations. It'll go into a lot more depth. The bike plan in 2016, I believe we had a budget of around 150 or so, give or take, and that was 8 years ago. And here we're combining bike and ped, and it's 8 years later. So 330 is about what we're looking at. Yeah, and if we do a request for proposals and we get a proposal that we feel will give us a robust plan for a less cost. We won't lose the money that we've allocated. So it'll go back to the pot as long as it's not beyond the 4-year horizon of the using the funds.
Thanks for the clarification.
I think as for me, I think that's, it's active transportation plan is definitely critical. I mentioned that, I think in one of the previous meetings, I think that's just to make us as a collectively, a city and us as a commission be accountable for the things we do for the community. So I think that's very important that we get that done, so. Yeah. So I think we're gonna move then to first, is there any other point of discussion? I think the recommended action is to approve the allocation of the TDA Article 3 fund allocation for the Cupertino transportation plan. So I think we need a motion for that to happen.
I have one question, is that, are we making a motion that the council approve the plan?
That's right. We are not approving.
Yeah, so we make, the
make a
motion would be,
You would make the recommendation that Cupertino allocates $330,000 of TDA Article 3 funding towards the development of the active transportation plan. You don't have to specifically recommend the council. You're just recommending that the allocation happen. And then we go to the council and we say, the bike commission recommended the allocation. That's just having the bike commission recommend the allocation is a check mark. Let's say we have to have done it. So that's what we're asking for this evening.
Can we have the Word document on the screen?
Of course.
Thank you.
So the question is, do we really, the bicycle commission has to put the dollar amount in there, or as you're recommended, like, the commission could recommend the allocation of, TDA Article 3 allocation for the Cupertino plan, and then how much money is supposed to be, the council can decide what they wanted to do there, isn't it? We are not necessarily approving any dollar. Right, all we are saying is, okay, you could use the TDA Article 3 funds for this purpose.
That is a good question, and
I think that letter, the word approve is kind of.
I believe you're right. Commissioner Ganga, the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee needs to review and approve the project. Not necessarily, they don't specify that the dollar amount has.
Exactly, we are not part of it.
Yes, so if you would like to make a motion just to approve the project, be considered for the TD Article 3 funding, that would be acceptable.
That we may propose. Right. I think Bicycle Pedestrian Commission recommends the city council.
Yeah, I think that approve word is kind of just.
Yeah, exactly. Recommends the city council to allocate.
Yeah, we don't need to include the city council in that, so to recommend the allocation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can remove that city council to approve. Yeah, recommend the allocation of.
Even on the top, there should be an approval of that recommendation to the city council.
But that's not what.
Where is it?
On there was, right? Can we go on the top? The first page, is this, oh, you removed it. Yeah, there.
So this is just a document where I put the recommendation in the staff that was
Okay,
recommended in the staff report listed right here. It's for everyone's easy viewing.
Okay, I think that's the agenda item, right?
That's the recommended action for this agenda item.
okay.
Is there a second?
Should we say specifically, okay, anyway, it's coming from VPC, you don't have to say.
First.
I think Commissioner Ganga made the motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Or proceed to vote?
Okay, for the motion on the screen, how do you vote, Commissioner Ganga?
Aye.
Chair Marcy?
Aye.
Vice Chair Wolf?
Aye.
Commissioner Zhao absent, and Commissioner John?
One small correction I would like to make is that, okay, do we consider the motion to make an amendment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, what I was trying to say is like, it's as if it shows the Cupertino active plan, but basically it's like the development of the Cupertino active transportation plan, isn't that correct?
Allocation for development of,
The Cupertino active transportation plan, isn't that correct?
so it's. I don't think it matters.
But,
Yeah,
okay,
it's just the project has to be approved for submittal by the Bicycle Pedestrian Commission, so you're approving the project, which is the active transportation plan. I think it's understood.
okay, because the dollar doesn't go to any implement, it goes for the development of the
Yes,
plan.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I was trying to.
I believe that's understood.
Yeah, okay,
Take it back because
okay, sounds good, okay. Okay, that's fine, then we don't have to make anything, thank you.
Good, that concludes the second agenda item. We'll move on to the staff and commission reports. Are there any staff reports?
yes, Chair, I have a few quick items. First, just an update, the McClellan separated bike project phase 3, the McClellan De Anza intersection is proceeding on schedule. The locations for the traffic signal poles have been determined. Many of the curbs have been formed. We're looking at a completion date around the end of June for that project. The counts for the Regner Creek Trail have been completed. We did the counts last week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That information is currently being compiled by the firm that we hired to do the counts, and I expect to receive that information within the next couple of weeks. And then I'll bring that back to the commission in June, or probably most likely July. And my final update, the tomorrow, Bike to Work Day, the Energizer station will be up, hopefully, tomorrow morning. I've arranged for city staff to drop off the chairs and tables and canopies tomorrow morning at 6:30 at the southeast corner of Stelling and McCall. All good to go for the Energizer. And that concludes my report.
And maybe one question about the bike racks projects.
That, yes, so that's a meeting I have to reschedule. Cancel last week. SEMA was not able to make. I believe at this point we're waiting for updates from you and from SEMA on the locations of the bracks on the private property. So we'll be looking for an update on them.
And another one would be the Lawson project. Just wanted to.
We're looking to take Lawson to council in fall,
Probably September, yeah.
probably September.
Are there any commission reports? So now, are there any public speakers for that item?
Nope.
So can you bring up the list of future agenda items? So the question would be, would Vision Zero come in June as an agenda item?
That's my intention right now, yes.
And also, I requested in the last meeting, we requested for to coincide with that, like a, request Fremont, City of Fremont staff members to come and present about the learnings from their Vision Zero plan. Because they are one of the successful cities in this Bay Area who show before and after progress. Is that it?
I have not been able to get a commitment from the city of Fremont. I can continue to do that. If I'm successful, I could potentially, if they're available, have them come at a June meeting. I don't know what that would do to having our Vision Zero as well at the June meeting.
Possibly if it goes ahead of time, it gives both the commission as well as the public who might be present at that time to learn from the city of Fremont, right? So what they have. Okay, last time, the previous time when it came to the commission, there were questions about the value of it, including the commissioners had questions as well. And so this would kind of clarify those things before the actual agenda item is taken.
So are you recommending if I can get Fremont here in June, that
Yes.
we postpone ours for July?
It can be in the same meeting, it's just that, one could precede the other.
That's something we can consider. I'll need to get with the chair. We need two commissioners to agree for that to occur, to set the agenda item, or the chair and the liaison. So it's something that can be discussed.
I think it's something we can consider, provided that you get access to these people, and we can make that happen. The question that I have regarding Vision Zero is how much time will we have before the meeting to be able to read the whole document? Because last time it was a little bit of a challenge. We had just 3 days to read the full document. So how much time do we expect to get to read the document?
I'm hopeful you'll have at least a week. So the current schedule is I'm anticipating getting the revised plan back from the consultant by the end of this month, in May. And then it'll take a few days for staff to review it. And then once we do that, we can put it online for public and commissioner review. And our June meeting date looks like it's going to be the 13th. So hopefully that'll give at least a week time to review.
If you want another commission member to support the Fremont agenda item, I would request anyone to support. So previously we requested for May, and at that time, actually, there were two commissioners supported that, put it in the agenda item. So this time, now we're just changing it to June because we couldn't get it in May.
Yes.
And so I'm just seeking support from at least one other commissioner so that if you.
I certainly support that.
I support it, thank you. Yeah, we got two commissioners requesting to support that item.
And if I can't get someone from Fremont on the 13th,
That's fine, so then we can't, right? So,
would we still move forward with our Vision Zero?
Yes.
yes, of course, yeah. We don't have to delay that, but at least this will really support that Vision Zero coming during.
Have you drawn up the date for next meeting?
June 13th. I remember you saying you weren't able to attend. Sorry.
Yeah, not the country.
I have one question. Is there, as far as, can we talk about staff updates about this accident that occurred recently? Is there any staff?
No,
We can't talk about it right now, okay.
Okay. Are there any public comments for that item?
no.
So that was the last agenda item we had. This meeting is then adjourned at 7:37. Thank you.
That's the fastest. Because in the
No,
last
first
few
time.
years, I think.
Yeah.
I do have, is there an update from the mayor's meeting or is that?